Welcome to another episode of the Greatness Engineering Show. It is a pleasure to have you with us again. And I'm really excited about the interview today because we're going to a special country. We're going to Bhutan. And I don't know if you heard about Bhutan before. We've gone to several countries, in the world, but this is the first time we're going to Bhutan. And just to give you a little bit of update, so Bhutan it's a kingdom and it's a landlocked country in Southeast Asia and in the eastern Himalaya between China to the north and northwest and India to the south and southeast. So, and one of the things that is really special to Bhutan is it is well known for its unique philosophy of gross national happiness, and Bhutan is one of the country that actually measure the gross national happiness index, and instead of just focusing on the economic growth. So today, as I mentioned, we are going to Bhutan, and we have a special guest. So Dorish, I don't know if I pronounce it really well. Is gonna correct me later on, but he's a former civil servant and he's a global speaker and creativity catalyst. And the most important thing for today is a E for she, is really for woman empowerment. And he started his speaking career in 2024. And one of his topics, that the topics that he talks about are, feminism, which is, women empowerment, sustainable tourism, and of course, gross national happiness, and also creativity, mindfulness, and creativity writing. So let us know where you're watching from. It's going to be an interesting conversation. Let us know where you're watching from, and don't hesitate to participate. This show is for you. I bring you what I call the greatness engineers, so that they can, inspire you, and they can share their strategies, their wisdom, for you, to help you to go to the next level of your greatness. So come in, let us know, have your pen and paper, because there's going to be a lot shared today, and it will be an amazing conversation so far. So don't go anywhere. I'm bringing our guest today. To another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show, the show that is brought to you by the Virai Telekima Global Leadership Organization.
Real is important is if you just look at the word compassion, when it's behavior, it's something that can be learned, and it is something that we can embody through habits and through our daily action.
To get this idea that if we interject this wisdom intentionally, I call them needle movers. It's the needle mover that's missing.
Don't deprive the world of your greatness. Don't do that anymore. Dare to excel, dare to be sexy, dare to be you, dare to be the best version of yourself. Impact yourself positively, and from there impact others, and you are not alone.
welcome to the Greatness Engineering Show today. Is it Dorji?
Yes, that's right, Mirror Dorji.
Dorji,
Yes.
welcome. And it is a pleasure for me to host you today. And you can see the excitement on my face and really looking forward to talk about, women empowerment and understand, your journey first and how, what led you to become he for she and really, talking and promoting, I don't know if it's promoting, but supporting feminism so far. But before we reach this stage, I just want you to add to whatever introduction I've made about you. If I've missed anything so far, so just to for the people to get to know you better, and then we can definitely start our conversation.
Yes, Meryl, thank you so much. Actually, I was really looking forward to this. The last couple of days, I couldn't even sleep because I was really waiting for this hour to meet you and talk to you. And of course, if there are any listeners online, of course, this will be also later on rebroadcasted. So really excited about this. And before actually we go into this, I also wanted to congratulate Meryl for this wonderful show. And I really liked your introductory music. In fact, I was dancing while I was not on the screen, but I was listening to your introduction and the music that was following, and I was already dancing. So it was very
Oh,
very good.
wow.
Yes, yes.
Okay, fantastic. Fantastic. And what I'm going to do then is just we have a short video as well that can actually tell, quickly who you are. And that will give people, just a snap of what, who
Oh, I
you
see.
are and what you do. So don't go anywhere. We will be back in few minutes.
I'm Dorji Dhradhul. Namaskar.
So wow. So
Thank you so
you
much.
were
Mm.
former civil servant, and you shift to becoming a speaker, and especially to really talk about specific subject that are quite very relevant and very very important today. So what led you to that path?
Oh yes, actually, I've been a kind of a lifetime civil servant. I've worked for almost 30 years, and then of course I still have some few more years to continue. But then I decided to exit my civil service mainly for two reasons. One is something very personal. I was think there was a kind of a requirement for me to be at home with my family because I think for my last 30 years I think I've been a full-time civil servant. So especially the last 5 years I've not been able to give much time to my own family, and so that was one reason. But the second reason is more, I think, more important is I thought because when you are in a civil servant, you have a particular assignment, you have a mandate. Like my last job was I was the heading the Department of Tourism, so therefore my work is very specific. So I cannot really indulge myself in other areas, even if I wanted to. And like for instance, today what we are going to discuss is about women empowerment, and that is something that has been always close to my heart. So therefore, as a non-civil servant, there is a more opportunity for you to do other things than which you always wanted to do, but you could not really do because you have been dedicated as a civil servant. So basically, these are my two reasons, and why I wanted to be a speaker is basically to take this opportunity in conveying, sharing with the world the certain things
Mm-hmm.
that I feel very close, and I feel that that could help to make our world more enlighten, make our world more equal, more just, and more harmonious and more prosperous, and less of a
Mm-hmm.
war. Actually, yeah.
Like, yeah, definitely, because there's really a lot going on right now. It's important that, we have people who bring a little bit of understanding
You're breaking down, yeah. Sorry for that.
So what I wanted to ask you, sorry, I was gone for a few minutes. Why women empowerment led you to focus on, women and empowering women? Is that's I mean, it's very rare to have, men that are, spontaneously getting into, spending time to really empower women. So what led you to, to really start, focusing on that?
Well, I think that's very important. Now, before we actually talk about this, why I've become who I am as of today, a full
Mm-hmm.
supporter of he for she value, basically women empowerment. Now, this basically got to do with my own upbringing, my own
Uh-huh.
life. So that's far. Now, starting from my own childhood, uh, and I come from a big family. We are 10 siblings, and uh, we had from one mother 10 siblings, and we had two fathers. And I and my elder siblings, we lost our father when I was barely 1 year old. Of course, he left to heaven. And then my younger siblings, they lost their father, my stepfather, when our youngest sibling was barely 5 years old. And of course, he left us because mm, to start a new family, another family. Now that was quite a experience because then I've seen basically I was growing up seeing my mother bring up all 10 of us basically single-handedly as a single parent, and I've seen the amount of challenges and hardships that she has gone through. But despite that, uh, I would say that I'm so proud and so appreciative that she could manage to raise all 10 of us into a very productive, healthy, and a happy citizen as of today. Yeah, and and also something that is really touched me was that all along I've never seen my mother, though we know that what could have been really inside, the truth. I mean, the difficulties, the challenges that she must have gone through. But despite all this, I have never seen my mother complain, nor my mother break under pressure, not even once.
Wow.
So therefore, I saw in her the 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 characters such as the qualities such as the resilience, the compassion, the accountability, the selflessness. So to me, I've always seen my mother as that ideal human being.
Mm-hmm.
Who should be an ideal human being? If anyone asks me, then I would immediately think of my mother. But basically, here that's my mother's story. Then, of course, in the process, I've seen how, as a woman, how you get exploited, how you get disadvantaged. So that I've seen in my mother's life. Yeah. Then second is even in my own sibling, like my second eldest is a sister, elder sister. Now she also unfortunately, sadly, shares a similar kind of story because she could never go to school. And the reason is
Mm-hmm.
because she happens to be of that gender, a female, a girl. And now, as I have already shared, we had a big family and a single mother, single parent. And definitely, the things are not so easy those days in the family. So therefore, my mother needed someone to help her, a helping hand, and my sister became a natural choice. The reason is again those days, even today, when such
Mhm.
requirements comes, then it is always the woman or the girl that becomes the victim. Yeah. So therefore, my sister was never had the opportunity to go to school, and the reason is, I mean, and not because she didn't have ability or no, not because she didn't have an ambition, but simply because she was born as a girl. And the evidence is that our eldest is a elder is a brother, and he was spared of this responsibility again because of gender, because I mean, he is a boy, yeah. So that is
He
another
could
one.
get
Then the
away with
other,
it.
yes, and the other story is my wife, my present wife. You know, even she had kind of a similar story. I mean, she was she's well educated. She has a master's degree. She's always going, and she has a good family background, family good support system. But despite that, at certain point in time, in before we met, she also had an incidences wherein she was also being trying to be, victimized by her colleagues, or I don't know. I mean, somebody who are working with her. I mean, was almost almost being, victimized and because of her gender. So all along, and also my work. I mean, I had worked in the civil service for so long, but my work actually took me to all parts of the country. And there also, in course of my work, I see instances of where the women and the children are
Mhm.
getting exploited. So these are all kind of situations that has actually made me who I am. And I really feel, that women are actually still getting left out, and they're being not given the full kind of opportunity as they should be. So yeah, so these are basically my own life experiences. I've seen with my own eyes. I've seen, felt, how as a woman things are not the same as a man. So I think yeah, basically, I could say these are the stories.
Yeah. So I mean it's good to know because sometime, especially for men, they can take things for granted, and it's good that you've experienced, so many stories of women who actually had the potential but couldn't actually use that potential just because they were women. And that's something that really needs to change. And I wonder, how you actually, because it must be a challenge, because there's a cultural aspect as well, if I understand from what's happening in Bhutan and in a lot of countries as well, even in my own country. Just how is the challenge for a man to actually, you know, try to convince, try to change things in a community where, gender inequality is the norm, and just wanted to know what kind of challenges you've had to go through.
Uh, to be honest, things are not so bad in our country. Of course, we have a very strong cultural norm, wherein even in our
Mhm.
culture, it is a kind of a belief that women are 9 generations, 9 lifetimes lower than men. I mean, you have such belief, yeah. And similarly, there are
Mhm.
certain,
Mhm.
like for example, traditionally in our culture, like boys are, it's not right for boys to do, household chores like sweeping a floor, or, doing a
Mhm.
laundry, or working, cooking. These are also not seen as a men's or boys' job. So these are there. But despite this, the resistance, like for example, if a man tries to, speak for a woman's rights and all, I think the resistance is not so strong, like maybe in some other communities or societies. So things are much better off here. But having said
Mhm.
this, there's certain things, I mean, which is global, which is common across the world, certain gender biases that are still very
Mhm.
much strong here. I mean, so Bhutan is no different. But what I'm trying to say here is we don't have any kind of a serious specific cultural norms or things which could actually really be difficult for a woman empowerment or for gender equality kind of a pursuit. But
Mm-hmm.
but we do have those challenges which are actually common to all the countries.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay. All right.
basically, I'm not facing any kind of a serious challenges to
Mm-hmm.
pursue my interest or my passion in taking speaking on behalf of women and trying to bring the women empowerment or gender equality. So I don't face any challenges as such in my country here.
Fantastic. So it means that things are evolving. And just to say hello to some of the people watching. So we have Amina. Amina is watching from she's watching from South Africa. So welcome, Amina. Thank you for being with us. And we have Dr. Atini. Oh, Atini, Dr. Atini, thank you very much. And thank you for connecting us because we actually got to connect at the Women Economic Forum a few, 1.5 weeks ago. So thank you very much for that. And we're going to have a small break and we will be back to continue this conversation. And I hope, you are enjoying what's being shared today. And we will be back in few minutes. Just time to have a small commercial. Welcome to another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show, the show that is brought to you by the Birai Telekima Global Leadership Organization.
When I left Disney, I met lots of people who are entrepreneurs and just said, look, I'm starting. What advice do you have for us? And I got some great advice. And there was a few things that were key. First of all, and as you saw in the video there, keep it simple. Be simple about what problems you solve.
But what are you hoping for? That means that there's a future. That means that there's something that you yet still need to be realized and materialized in your life. And if you have lost hope and you're not hoping for something, that means you're lost. So we need to get you back to the place of being able to hope again.
Trust the process. So many times we get stuck and paralyzed from taking the first step and taking action to get out of that transactional to the transformational of our own lives because we're afraid. But trust the process. Take that one little microscopic step. And I tell you that once you do that, that will increase into another step and another step and another step. So that's what I'd like to leave with you today.
My message for today is delay is not denial. It doesn't matter how long it takes you to accomplish what it is that you want to accomplish in life. Do not stop until you get what it is you know God has for you.
So we are back. We are back with our guest today, Dorji. And one question that I had, Dorji. So now that you basically, pushing for women empowerment, what are the key tools or key action that you're taking to be able to, push that agenda or improve the condition of women, not only in Bhutan but also globally, since you're now kind of working globally as well?
Yes, actually, yeah, that's right. So whatever I'm doing is not just for Bhutan. As I said, we don't have a different kind of or specific challenges on women empowerment in Bhutan comparing to other countries. It's more or less the same situation here because we know that the World Economic Forum of 2024, they're saying that it will take 134 years. to
Mhm.
achieve this gender parity, and that is too long a time. And also, there's another report which says that from a UN, according to them, it will take 300 years. I mean, can you believe that? I mean, so therefore, this is the real crux of the matter here, the real challenge. And I believe that we cannot wait that long. I think that's not right. When we are already talking, we as a human being, human species, we are already even building our cities on other planets, like in Mars. We are exploring the deep universe. The AI is now almost like challenging the human intelligence. So we have come so far in terms of development, but in gender equality, we have not moved much. And in fact, I say we are moving backwards because I was sharing last time in World Economic Forum, I mean, Women Economic Forum also, that the first organized women rights movement is started 177 years ago. It was in 1848 in New York at a convention called Seneca Falls Convention, where 300 women gathered, and that was the first organized women's rights movement, and which is about 55 years before the humans made this first airplane by the Wright brothers. It was in 1903. And as I said, now in terms of the other development, we have come so far, but gender equality has not moved much. And because the reason is today there's not even one country that can proudly say that we have achieved gender equality. We don't have. Yeah.
Mhm.
So what I'm saying, the message that I'm trying to bring to the world is maybe whatever we have been trying to do, both by men and women, in our pursuit to gender equality, maybe we are not doing something right. So my hypothesis, actually, it's not my hypothesis. I tell that I got this message from the universe because we as a human have now actually failed in terms of the pursuing gender equality because we are seeing 134, 300 years. It's almost like we have failed, yeah. So therefore, I sought a
Mhm.
help from the universe, and then universe gives me three ideas. How to fast track this. So this is basically I wanted to share with the world, and which I shared in Kuala Lumpur also last month. And because I felt that now we need a help from the outer universe,
Mhm.
the world here, to get this thing to set these things right. So the first message that I'm getting from the universe is maybe the language that we have used so far when we talk about gender equality has been wrong all along. Because we know
Mhm.
that whenever we talk about gender equality conversation, we always talk about, fighting for women's rights, struggling for women empowerment, revolution for gender equality. So all these words like, fight, struggle, revolution, these are all, talks about conflict, war, battle. And we know that war will never bring us peace. War means it
Mhm.
further divides. So therefore, we could never get anything good out of war. So our language has around the gender equality so far has been always towards that kind of a perspective. So therefore, I think
Mhm.
things are not really happening. So therefore, the message that I want to bring is now let us, when you talk about gender equality, let us not talk about fighting for rights, women fighting for rights. No, let's rather talk about love. Through love, through compassion, through partnership, through care, together, men and women, we try to nurture this gender equality agenda, and then maybe through that we will achieve our objectives much faster. That is the first message. The second message
Yeah.
is, uh, yeah, you want to ask?
No, no, just go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. The second message is we men have to have a bigger responsibility in this. I think we need to take much more bigger responsibility. Of course, women have been taking so far, men have been also taking, but the message that now I'm bringing from the university is we men have to take more responsibility. Now, if we have to take this agenda, to fast track this. Now, the reason is because the gender equality, inequality, the situation is being actually created mostly by men. It is the men's agenda. Like it is
Mhm.
the men are they actually, whether we intentionally or unintentionally, it is the men who have actually created, uh, or rather, we have authored some of the darkest chapters of the when you talk about gender equality, like for example, sexual harassment, exploitation, the rape, you, the women getting paid less, and yeah, you talk about all these gender equality situations. It is basically the men's doing, and
Mhm.
also it is the men have actually been also taught, even for their matter, women. I mean, even by culturally, we say, men are the superior kind of gender. Women are the less, inferior. Similarly, so we have been learning all these kind of things through our upbringing, through our as we grow up, by culture, by tradition, things like that. So somehow, women have been always leading this dominant role. So therefore, when I say when men has to take bigger role means now men have to step back. We have to say now,
Mhm.
okay, maybe so far whatever doing is, I think, is not right. Now let women come in the front, not always in behind, because we say, behind every successful man there is a woman. I mean, even the saying has been framed in such a way that the women are not at the front. So women's
Mhm.
success doesn't matter. Actually, only the success of men would matter, and women's role is just to support men and just be in the shadow or behind, or Oh. So therefore, what we're saying is now I think let us step back, let women also come in the front, let them also lead, and let them also enjoy the success. Let a man be behind the success of a woman. So let us try to change the role in a bit. And also now we men have to start re-examining some of the things that we always thought were right. For example, the man has to be a superior gender. No, I think, or also some of the roles, like, it is always the woman's role to be in the kitchen. It is always the woman's role to
Mhm.
bring up the mother's role to bring up the child, because fathers play the role, but then we always say father's role is always to go out and bring food, and but the mother's role is always to bring up the child, and mother's role is always to be in the kitchen, cook for the food. No, let us try to change that role also. And in a way, even today, it's very common when a man or a husband does something in the kitchen, they will always say, I'm helping in the kitchen. I'm helping my wife to
Mhm.
cook the food. But actually, it's not helping. So we need to change this. We are not helping. Suppose if I do something in the kitchen, I'm not helping my wife. I'm not helping my family. I'm doing it for myself. It is my responsibility. I mean, who tells me that it is my wife's responsibility to cook for the family? No, I think I, as a
Mhm.
father or a husband in the family, it is my equal responsibility. So therefore, we need to re-examine the way we structure our language also, So me working in the kitchen is not me helping my wife or my family. It
Mhm.
is me. It is my responsibility. So in everything that we do, especially the men, we have to re-examine the things that we have been thinking so stereotypically. What is right? I think we need to undo those. So that is the second kind of a message that I'm bringing from the universe. So if we do this, then maybe I believe that we could fast track this. So we don't have to wait for 134 years. Maybe we can do it in 134 months, which is about 11 years. I think we should try. We should try to get this gender equality in this world, but in another decade. I think that should be our objective. So basically, uh, I'm trying to do this. So basically, if the whole world, I mean, many people come to know about this, and then I think the idea here is we are not saying now men and women has to be, we have to go a separate way. No, in fact, I'm saying the opposite. Now, men and women have to really come together as a partner, as a partner. And because if you are partnering truly with each other, then the result could be much more than the sum of its parts. Like, for example,
Mhm.
the new formula for gender equality I'm proposing is, again, this was kind of inspired by the founder of the Women Economic Forum, Dr. Uh, Harbin Arora, right? She always talks about one plus one is not two, one plus one is 11. Now, what I mean here is if men and women, one man and one woman, if we partner equally as a equal partner, not as a savior, not as a helper, but as a co-creator, if you work together, then the result will be not just two, not just one husband and one wife, but basically the result will be 11. So we are talking about
Mhm.
transformation here. So what the secret here is to get 1 plus 1 into 11 is the secret is we need to have a true partnership between man and woman, between husband and wife. Basically saying that if we are true, as a true partner, not really helping each other, but as a co-creator, as a co-owning, then our result will be not two, but it will be 11. It is such a big transformation. So these are the
Mhm.
three things that I'm trying to say, and maybe we can make a big impact in pursuing to gender equality. Otherwise, today, I mean, you look at the post from UN Women and UNFPA, we get posts, of very discouraging, statistics saying that still women are, in terms of statistics, in terms of so many other parameters, women are still lagging so much behind. And of course, the overall, it has been all overpowered by this report from World Economic Forum of 2024, report saying that it will take 134 years to be gender equality. I think that says everything. So the matter is so serious, so urgent, and I think we need to come up with some new ideas because whatever we have been doing so far for last 170, 74, it has not really making a big impact as such. We are still struggling. So therefore, some of these ideas that which I shared and which is not originally mine, it is coming from the universe because the universe is helping this human species because the human species have actually both men and women together. I think we have failed because we have not been able to achieve this gender equality. And why do we pursue this? We pursue this because it is for the benefit of all the humanity. Because by not having this gender equality, we are losing so much. We are losing so much, and even I I personally believe if we have more women at a equal power or decision making, uh, then maybe we will have less war. We will have more peace in this world. Today, as you have earlier also just shared, there's so much war, so much conflict, so much everywhere in the world, and I believe maybe this has got to do with the leadership also. And if at the leadership level, if you have more women, I mean that means and also working as an equal partner, then maybe I feel that this could be one solution to have a less war and more peace in this world. I mean, it could have so much positive impact for the world. And in fact, my slogan is if we have this true partnership between men and women and equal opportunities and at a leadership level also equal representation, then this world, our humanity will be much more enlightened. And then this our humanity and our world will be much more equal, more just, more harmonious, and more prosperous. So the objective is really huge. I mean, it is at a global level. It can even address the wars and the conflicts that we are today so much infested with.
Fantastic. And there's a lot, like you said, we need a balance. We need really a balance. And this lack of balance is what's creating, all the, the animosity, the wars and everything. So if we can bring more women to bring the balance and bring more women at the decision-making table, we can actually avoid and bring more love, more collaboration and more understanding of each other, and that's
Yeah.
very important. So really really inspiring, really powerful. And Amina is corroborating the powerful perspective. Yes, it is a powerful perspective, and we have to understand that women empowerment is not just going to help women. It's going to, like you mentioned, it's going to help everyone. It's
Everyone.
for the benefit of the world. It's not just for the benefit of women, and that's what we need to understand as women, but also, and most important, for men, because some men feel like empowering women, by empowering women they will lose something, but that's not the case. It's actually good for everyone, and everyone will benefit. So we're going to have our last break, and then we will come back for the last message for today. It is really, a very powerful conversation, but unfortunately we can't, we're not going to be able to talk about everything, but at least, we want to get your message for the people who are watching. What is the main message that you want to leave them with? But before that, we will have a small video, and then we will be back just to finish the show. And we want to say, here, one of our sponsor, which is She Exists, also empowering women, has been working with us since the beginning. We started this adventure 5.5 years ago, and we'll keep going. And it is because of sponsor like She Exists that we can continue. So don't go anywhere. We will be back in few minutes. So we are back. We are back with Dorji and Dorji. So one of the questions that I really like asking my guest is, what is I mean, you've done so much and you're still doing so much. What is the legacy that you want to leave?
Uh, okay, Mariel, before that, I just wanted to say something. Now, just to
Yeah.
continue a little bit the earlier one. Now, this is so important because you know what? I mean, this can really bring a change to whatever I say. Because you ask anyone, whether it is a male or a female or man or woman or boy or girl, who is your, most adorable or your idol? Most 99% will say it is their mother.
Mm-hmm.
99% will say it's mother. So therefore, we all human beings, basically, it is a proven fact that the mother is the best, the most ideal in terms of love, compassion. You talk about all the good qualities. It is the mother. Now, when we come to the real life, we forget that, and then we create so
Mm-hmm.
much of discrepancies, so much of disparities between male and women, and we forget. So what I'm saying is, if we remember this, your most ideal human being is your mother. Then what is wrong when you are actually in your real world? You are not
Mm-hmm.
respecting that. So we basically need to remind ourselves this and try to put this into action. Yeah. So basically, earlier, as we said, if we have more women, like more mothers at the leadership level, this world could be much more peaceful. I mean, even if you forget about the rest of everything else, but just talk about war and peace, yeah, we will have more peace. I mean, this is what I'm saying. I mean, and so it is a proven thing. I mean, you cannot deny this. Otherwise, just now we most of us are all being hypocrites. It's a big hypocrisy. The whole agenda around this gender equality is the one big hypocrisy, and in fact, it is one of the biggest disgrace to humanity that we are tagged with as of now. So we need to really get out of this. Now, answering your question, what legacy that I would like to leave is basically yes. At this point in time, I'm pursuing a couple of things. I'm being a global speaker. I want to talk on few subjects. One is definitely this one, the women empowerment, to bring and the agenda is objective is by having the gender equality, we will have a better world. We will have a more just, more peaceful, more harmonious, more prosperous world for everyone. Yeah, for the whole humanity, both men and women. That is my first agenda. Second is, of course, I am also trying to talk on creativity. Now, creativity is something, of course, everybody, it's not a new subject. I mean, everybody talks about creativity. And if, in fact, we human beings are today at our stage, I mean, at such a development stage that we have reached is because of our creativity. But now going forward, even what I'm saying is creativity is going to be even more important, especially now with so much advancement in the artificial intelligence, the machine learning, the all these things. And in fact, we are almost being threatened by this machine and AI taking over our human intelligence also. They are already challenging us now, which we don't want this to happen. I mean, it is a possibility if we human beings really don't step up ourselves and be more prepared, we can be overtaken by all these machines and AI. So therefore, the only tool that we have, only superpower that we have is we further develop our creativity potential. So that is something that I want to again spread this message to the whole world, starting from my own country. I'm going to tell that our younger generation, we have to be now even 10 times, 100 times more creative to stay ahead of these machines and air learning. So that is something that again I feel very serious and strong. If you are not really, if you get distracted, then there's possibility that the human race could be, overtaken by machines and artificial intelligence. So these are the two serious topics that I'm actually working on. But finally, I think I want this world to be uh, a more enlightened, a more just and more equal and equal opportunity and equal prosperity for everyone in this world, not just men and women, but for everyone.
Fantastic, powerful, and we couldn't, just finish on this highlight. And just want to know, how do people, obviously, you have a lot to share. So how do people connect with you and continue this conversation that we started here on this platform?
Oh yes, I have a website actually. Uh, so we can connect through that. Of course, I am also on the LinkedIn. I am, yeah, I think you have just shared it. Thank you very much. That's my website, and there you can through that we can connect. And of course, I have a LinkedIn, and I am hoping to go around and travel and do this talk and try to spread this message, and especially on the women empowerment, the gender equality. I feel this is very urgent, something that we can really bring a change. I mean, basically by reimagining the gender equality agenda.
Fantastic. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dorji, for your insight today, for your wisdom, and for, the passion that you brought on the show today. It has been a really interesting and really inspiring conversation. and we take that you are an agent of peace, and you really want equality, and making sure that the world actually have more peace, and women empowerment is one way of bringing more peace into the world, and to help the world to really to become greater. And that's what this platform is all about. It's about greatness. So by empowering women, bringing creativity, we are going to the next level of the greatness as far as the world is concerned. So thank you very much again, and it's been a pleasure, and you all always welcome to come back, because we've enjoyed your company today. So for my for the people viewing right now, those who are going to watch the show later, if you have any question, please don't hesitate to connect with Daryl on LinkedIn, or you can ask me, you can reach out to me, and I will connect you to him. And we will be back next week with another episode of the Greatness Engineering Show. And next week we're going to the US, and we're gonna have also a very inspiring gentleman. Is a singer, and he will also share his wisdom. So join us next week Friday, for another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show. Otherwise, thank you for being with us. We have so Sister Dr. Artini, who was here. We have Amina. Amina has been on the show several times. She's doing amazing work with an organization called AREL, who is empowering refugees in the biggest refugee camp in Kenya. So amazing work to bring to alleviate poverty, but also to empower the refugees as well. So thank you very much, and then again, thanks for your time, Dorji, for Brother Dorji, to be with us today. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.